Good afternoon and welcome to Spotlight Africa. We're coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. Bring you stories from all around the continent. My name is Uyai. Today on Spotlight Africa, Ecowas talks with Guinea-Bissau coup leaders fail. Civil society condemns the death of opposition leader and sends Ekene in custody. Congolese authorities declare end of Ebola outbreak in Kasai. United Kingdom suspends funding support for the Mozambique gas project. In other news, South African radio presenter among 5 charged over Russia recruitment plot. We'll bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. First on Spotlight Africa, a high-level delegation from the West African Regional Bloc known as Ecowas ended a mediation mission to Guinea-Bissau on Monday with no breakthrough, but pledged to continue talks with coup leaders later this month. Led by Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio, the regional bloc traveled to Bissau seeking a return to civilian rule following a military coup last Wednesday. The junta, which has banned protests and strikes, argued it acted to restore security and stability in the small West African nation. Sierra Leone's Foreign Minister Timothy Musa Kaba, speaking on behalf of Bio, said they had fruitful discussions. ECOWAS has condemned the coup and called for the reinstatement of President Umaro Sissoco Embalo, who fled to Brazzaville after being detained. In his absence, the military installed former Army Chief General Horta Inta as head of a transitional government that has already appointed a new cabinet, largely composed of allies of the ousted president. Foreign Minister João Bernardo, appointed by the junta, said ECOWAS would remain engaged. In rather sad development, Cameroon is reeling after the death of Anicet Ekene, a prominent opposition figure and long-time critic of President Paul Biya, who died in custody. His passing has sparked grief and indignation in Yaoundé and beyond. According to Macher Nahoga, a defense lawyer for Ekene, legal teams were notified. Ekene's health had reportedly deteriorated in the days leading up to his death. According to Guana, when they last saw him on Tuesday, he was severely ill, barely able to speak. He insisted on seeing his palm and requested transfer to a hospital for appropriate care. Meanwhile, civil society groups have condemned Ekene's detention. Cyril Rolande, coordinator of the NGO New Human Rights, described the news as a shock to civil society. Ekene was subjected to arbitrary detention for over 30 days, a clear violation of fundamental rights and Cameroon's international commitments. As the country grapples with the loss, many in Douala and elsewhere are left searching for answers, calling for accountability and justice. Away from that, hundreds of protesters in Haiti's Saint-Marc took over the local city hall on Monday, demanding protection from gang violence. Over the weekend, heavily armed gangs attacked Haiti's central region, killing men, women and children as they set fire to homes. Political activists say that authorities had been alerted to the increase in gang activity in the area. Police have called for emergency backup, claiming that half the central Arbonite region has fallen under gang control after attacks on the towns of Bercy and Port Sonte. Much of the country's police force is in Port-au-Prince alongside Kenyan officers leading a UN-backed mission to repel gangs in the capital. A spokesperson for Haiti's national police did not immediately return a message seeking comment. In another development, Bontu Keita has stepped down from her position as special representative of the Secretary General Nations in the Democratic Republic of Congo and head of the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the DRC MONUSCO after nearly 5 years. The Guinean diplomat left Kinshasa on Sunday. According to a UN press release, the MONUSCO described her early departure, which was initially expected in February 2026, as a personal decision. The mission praised Keita for her dedication, leadership, and exemplary professionalism. Bintou Keita was first appointed at the helm of the UN peacekeeping mission in Congo in January 2021, succeeding Algeria's Leila Zerougi. She became the second woman and first woman from sub-Saharan Africa to lead the MONUSCO. Her time in office was marked by several crises. Just a few months after her nomination, she coordinated the response to the eruption of the Yirongo volcano near Goma. At least 32 people died and over 400,000 had to evacuate. In 2022, the MONUSCO faced protests in Goma, Beni, and Budbembo. Protesters denounced the rise of insecurity and inaction of the UN in the region. The unrest killed at least 36 people, including 4 UN peacekeepers. Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced the end of its latest Ebola outbreak after no new cases were reported in the past 42 days. Congo's Health Minister Roger Kamba said a total of 53 confirmed cases, 45 deaths, and 11 probable cases were recorded during the country's 16th Ebola outbreak. Kamba said more than 47,500 people were vaccinated. The minister especially credited frontline workers for helping to stem the outbreak. He noted the nation is still battling other diseases, including cholera and mpox. Recall that Congolese authorities declared the Ebola outbreak on the 4th of September in Bulapi, in Kasai province. It was Kasai's first outbreak since 2008. Health workers and the World Health Organization coordinated and tackled the outbreak, including by setting up a new Ebola treatment facility. They initially faced challenges in delivering the vaccine with limited access and scarce funds. In the meantime, Congolese Nobel Peace Laureate Dr. Denis Mukwege has denounced the ongoing peace process between Kinshasa and M23 rebels aimed at ending the fighting in eastern DRC. In a statement, Mukwege called the Washington and Doha-led initiative illegitimate, precarious, and incapable of guaranteeing lasting peace. Mukwege said the deal neglects the root causes and regional dynamics of the conflict and instead serves foreign geostrategic interest. He also claims that the people of North and South Kivu have been excluded from the negotiations and are still deprived of their fundamental rights. The UK government has said it will withdraw its funding from the Mozambique LNG project. The withdrawal is yet another blow to the mega Total Energies gas project. The British government said it will not disburse over $1 billion to the project, citing it as too risky. The gas project in Mozambique has over the years been accused of fueling the climate crisis and deadly terror attacks in the region. The project has been on hold since an Islamist insurgency attack in Cabo Delgado killed more than 800 people in 2021. The British Secretary of State told reporters on Monday that the project would not serve their interest. The UK Export Finance Government Agency was responsible for this $1.15 billion loan. It aimed to support exports as British companies are involved in the project. For example, Centrica, the UK's leading natural gas supplier, is scheduled to purchase LNG from Cabo Delgado. Nigeria's defense minister resigns amid growing insecurity. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. We head now to South Africa, where a radio presenter with its public broadcasting firm has appeared in court on a charge related to the alleged recruitment of men for the Russian military. Nokuleko Patricia Mantula is among 5 people who prosecutors say are facing charges for contravening a law which prohibits South Africans from joining a foreign army without official permission. They have not yet been asked to plead. The arrests are the first since the South African government said in November that 17 citizens had seemingly been lured to join mercenary forces in the Russia-Ukraine war. Police told reporters that at this stage, they are not linking the two cases. Mantula, 39, is a presenter of the Morning Bliss, a show on the SABC's SAFM radio station. Neither she nor SABC has commented on her arrest. Her arrest, along with 4 others, follows the dramatic resignation from Parliament last Friday of Duzile Nzuma Samdula, the daughter of South Africa's former President Jacob Zuma. who has been accused of duping the 17 South African men, including some of her relatives, into fighting for Russia, an allegation she denies. Away from that, United States President Donald Trump is doubling down on his intention to freeze immigration from poorer nations. The Trump administration has been blaming immigrants for problems including crime and housing shortages. The Somali community is one of the president's latest targets. Speaking from Air Force One on Sunday, Trump said the U.S. did not want immigrants from different countries that are not friendly to the United States and countries that are out of control themselves, countries like Somalia. Trump has recently escalated his attacks on Somali immigrants. He said he would terminate temporary protected status for Minnesota's Somali residents. The state has the largest Somali community in the country. In his Thanksgiving message on Truth Social, Trump reiterated his claims that hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. He accused Somalian gangs of roaming the streets and berated Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Representative Ilan Omar, who was born in Somalia. We move over now to Burkina Faso, where leader Ibrahim Traoré on Monday became the first Sahel Alliance head of state to get an identity card backed by the region's confederation. Traoré received his ID from the country's security minister. With the introduction of biometric identity cards, the Sahel leaders seek to grow the profile of their new bloc and to deepen integration. The move also shows that Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger are determined in severing their ties with the West African bloc Ecowas. The identity card is set to incorporate advanced security features that guarantee reliable identification and the protection of personal data. We return now to Nigeria, where the Defense Minister Mohammed Badar Abubakar has resigned. His departure comes amid a growing security crisis that has seen the mass kidnapping of hundreds of school children in recent weeks. President Bola Tinubu last week declared a nationwide security emergency and ordered the recruitment of an additional 20,000 police officers. Nigeria is battling dozens of armed groups operating in remote communities where government and security forces have limited reach. In November, more than 300 people were kidnapped from a school in northern Niger State. Just days before, 25 schoolgirls were abducted in neighboring Kebbi State. Analysts say armed gangs often target schools to pressure the government into negotiating ransoms. No group has yet claimed responsibility for either attack. And that's all we're able to bring to you at this time on Spotlight Africa, bringing you stories all around the continent. Do well to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spotlight Africa, we are MM. Good afternoon.